we bring in Chris Mathis, executive producer of The Drive with T-Crass on WDAE. He's also the co-host of Chris and Casey. Chris, appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Huge matchup tomorrow. The Bucs get a couple players back. Likely Tristan Wirfs, Chris Godwin back, but you have Mike Evans who is out. So how is the health of this Bucs team going to play into the outcome of tomorrow's game?
I feel like the health, and thank you guys for having me, the health of the Buccaneers heading into this game is going to play a huge impact in how this one shakes out. I know that last year you look back at the matchup, the Bucs were able to take care of the Eagles. The Eagles were the banged-up team at that point in time. This year, it feels like things have switched over. The Buccaneers a bit more banged up, as you referenced. They are getting back two key players, that being Chris Godwin, who I imagine will be on a limited snap count, and also their best player on both sides of the ball, Tristan Wirfs, all-pro left tackle, is going to be back protecting Baker Mayfield's blind side, which is an absolute must for him right now. He is taking so many hits throughout this season. Yes, he's willed this team to back-to-back-to-back wins through their first three games, but he's getting hit, and he was on the injury report earlier this week, too, with a biceps injury. So the injuries will play a major point of emphasis here on Sunday in Tampa, Florida.
Chris, I want to follow up there with the Baker Mayfield injury because it kind of came out of nowhere. I think a lot of people were surprised by that. And it's a bicep injury, and quarterbacks famously kind of need their arms to play the game of football. So how serious is this? What's the severity of it? Are you worried about Baker at all tomorrow in this game?
Well, I remember the game last week. I was at the Bucs-Jets game at Raymond James Stadium, and I saw something happen right around midfield. He popped up from getting hit after a throw and kind of grabbed at his arm and shook off his wrist and his arm a little bit. And I didn't think much of it after that because it's Baker Mayfield. He's one of the toughest guys, the grittiest quarterbacks in the National Football League. And then this week rolls in and you see the injury report, biceps injury. You flash back to that moment. They tried to limit the number of throws that he was making in practice. In fact, there was a day or two in which Baker Mayfield did not even throw the football. Fortunately, he did finish out the week tossing the ball. So he's healthy enough. The Bucs wouldn't throw him out there if they felt he wasn't healthy enough to play. But it is definitely something to monitor with an offensive line that has dealt with several moving pieces throughout the year. Even with the addition of Tristan Wirfs, they've still got some guys out. Luke Gedeke is out for the year. So they've had, or I shouldn't say out for the year, but on the IR, he's going to be missing quite a bit of time. The Bucs have had a banged-up offensive line throughout the season, so definitely something to monitor.
Chris, the Bucs have had the Eagles' number over the last couple of seasons, beat them in the wild card 2 years ago, beat them in the regular season last year. What is it about this Bucs team that is so successful against the Eagles?
I think it truly comes down to the defensive mastermind, Todd Bowles, who does and has gotten a lot of hate over the years as the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's conservative, he's this, he's that. But he is truly a defensive mastermind. He's a guy that's going to put this team in position to have a shot against a really impactful play, even with the tush push we saw a couple of years ago. The Buccaneers actually stopped it twice in the same game right here in Tampa 2 years ago. And I know that this year they're going to be able to make some noise defensively. It's just a matter of this time around, Devontae Smith is back. The Eagles are much healthier on offense than they were the last two matchups that they faced the Buccaneers.
Chris, as far as the Bucs offense goes, you mentioned the addition of Chris Godwin, how do you expect the roles to kind of change? Because you get Godwin back, but you lose your bona fide number one in Mike Evans. Emeka Egbuka's been awesome. He's one up there at the top of the odds board for Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's been really great, but how do you expect this to shake out? Is it still going to be Baker looking for Egbuka? Is Chris Godwin just going to step right into that number one role with Evans out? How do you expect this offense to look as you add guys and lose guys?
I think it's going to look something like this. You're going to see quite a bit of Sterling Shepard, not as the one, but I think he could arguably be considered the two. I think I'd go Emeka Egbuka as the one here on Sunday. You're probably going to see Shepard as the two. Chris Godwin thrown in the mix here as the 2 and the 3, depending on certain formations. But that's kind of my outlook here. They also have a guy in Ryan Miller who can make some noise, and they're still waiting on their breakout play or performance from Tez Johnson, the rookie. And some feel like this could be the weekend in which you see a little bit more of Tez Johnson on the offensive side of the ball.
Chris, I mean, all three games this year so far, the Bucs are 3-0, but they've kind of just squeaked by in a lot of those games. I mean, only by, a combined 5 points in those first 3. Is that sustainable going forward? Not even with the Eagles, but just the rest of their schedule throughout the season.
I think that I don't know if I'd necessarily say it's sustainable, but I will say this. I think it'll be on the uprise as the team continues to get healthy, because coming into the season, they dealt with so many injuries, especially on the offensive side of the ball, up front protecting Baker Mayfield. They will slowly get a little bit healthier, and some of these guys that are getting playing time now were pretty inexperienced. They were lacking that grass time at the NFL level and here with the Buccaneers. So I think that they're going to be still a double-digit win type of team. I don't see them, if this game on Sunday against the Eagles comes down to the final drive, I think this would be the game in which the Buccaneers would come up short if it were to come to that, simply because, 3 consecutive games of Baker literally driving his team down the field. Just unbelievable. And last week was crazy, too. The Lazard touchdown, I was at that game. I'm not sure I can't even believe that was called a touchdown. Ball clearly hit the turf. But either way, sustainable throughout the entire regular season? No, but I don't think the Buccaneers will necessarily be in that position too many more times. I think as they get healthier, they'll be able to pull away from teams a little bit more.
Chris, we've talked a lot about the offense for the Bucs. As far as the defense, though, what do you expect the plan to be to slow down the Eagles, try and mitigate Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, and this Eagles attack?
Yeah, it's going to be a huge challenge. There's no doubt about it. But the Buccaneers have been a team, one of the best run defenses since Todd Bowles took over, not only as just the head coach of the Bucs, but even the defensive coordinator years ago. And offensively, they've been able to establish 11 straight 100-yard rushing attacks. But stopping the Eagles' offense is going to be a challenge. There's no doubt about it. I worry about linebacker play. Even with the likes of Levante David, he's been a liability in pass coverage across the middle. So I look for Goddard to probably have a big game. And then also Saquon Barkley, if he can get out in the open field, we know what he can do running the football. But if he gets in a one-on-one situation with Servassier Dennis, who's been a liability for the Buccaneers defense, I think the Bucs are in trouble.
Chris, we have a 3.5-point spread here. How do you see the outcome of this game playing out? Do you have a final score prediction for us?
Okay. All right. Coming into this game, I felt like the Buccaneers were an absolute lock to lose this one, even ahead of the season, even ahead of all the injuries. I had the Bucs for their first 4 games no better than 2-2, but some way, somehow, just the tenacity, the relentless pursuit from the defense and seeing Todd Bowles get these guys going, Baker Mayfield finding a way to lead his team to a victory. They're going to lose week 5. The Bucs will not go 5-0. They're going to lose to Seattle in Seattle. I'm locking that in. But I think the Bucs pull out a 24-20 win here on Sunday, some way, somehow. And I don't think it comes down to a final drive from the Eagles and a big stop. I think the Bucs just hang on to the ball and have a shot to just close things out.
All right, so Bucs money line 24-20. That gives us a push on the total at 44. Jake, you listening here? You got to lock these in.
I'm on the Eagles already, minus 3.5. So
that's not good. Chris, I'll join you on the Bucs. I'll join you on the Bucs.
Yeah, that sounds great, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us, Chris. Enjoy the game tomorrow. We'll talk to you down the road.